Welcome, gaffers and gigglers, to the Laugh Tracker. My name is Fork, yes, really, and on this show, I ruin jokes with math. You might be wondering, why in the world would you do that? Unless you type 58008 into a calculator, it is impossible to make math funny. Well, you see, jokes are like eggs. In order to find out how they work, you gotta observe it, break it down, heat it on a stove for a prolonged period of time. That is to say, to analyze what makes something funny, you need to make it unfunny. On this show, I will go through episodes of televised comedies and take note of every single last joke in an episode to figure out what makes it tick and what makes the audience hick. How fast do jokes come out? How many will you see in an episode? What kinds of topics are most common within the jokes? How many of them are visual? Is there a certain vehicle for the jokes? All of these questions and many more are what I claim to be answering. But really, I just want to use a spreadsheet. Each episode of the show will follow the famous rule of threes. 1. Count the jokes. We'll go through an itemized list of every joke in the episode in order, giving brief comments on each one to see if they're actually any good, denoting good jokes as hits and bad jokes as misses. Quality is, of course, entirely up to my factual, objective, unquestionable opinion. 2. Quantify the jokes. Once we've counted them all up, we'll go through the important stats such as jokes per minute, hit to miss ratio, and other numbers which allow us to break down the nuanced hard labor of the writers and performers into a digestible figure that determines their worth. And 3. Subversive punchline. Analyze the jokes. Using our statistics and findings, we will identify common patterns and really dig deep to find out what makes the show we're looking at special. Why is it funny? Why does it make me want to die? Should the writer be thrown into the sun? I will know. That just about covers our structure, but there's an important question that we gotta ask before anything else. What is a joke? On the surface, it might seem simple to answer, but if we want meaningful data, we should have a clear definition. I will consider anything which seems intended to make the viewer laugh as a joke. A good rule of thumb is that if you can imagine a laugh track after the line, that line will be considered a joke. An escalating gag will be considered a series of escalating but separate jokes. A running gag, each reoccurrence is its own joke. A background visual gag, I don't care if the laugh track would interrupt normal dialogue, that's a joke. A funny voice, first time they speak or if they have a line that calls attention to it, that's a joke. A funny design, first time it's on screen, that's a joke. Everything that makes an attempt at humor will always be a joke. Now, you might be asking, but Fork, doesn't this give you infinitely more work since the inability to group gags together or focus on engaging or complicated bits will leave you with a massive list of jokes big and small to review, in some cases requiring you to seriously question every line and every frame of every scene in every episode you cover? Yes. Like and subscribe.